Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. And this video is for all those viewers who want to hear what happened on Raw and the spoilers for this week's Raw portion of Superstars. But first, WWE news. As we have HBK and Regal congratulating Daniel Bryan on his win, and also Zack Ryder. Okay, Shawn Michaels they both had training with Daniel Bryan, and wrote the following on Twitter last night about his World Heavyweight title win. HBK says, obviously, a big congratulations is due to Daniel Bryan. I couldn't be happier for him. Awesome young man whose bright future has just started. William Regal wrote, I'm very happy for Daniel Bryan. Well deserved, a truly world-class pro wrestler and now world champion. Ring of Honor also congratulated their former champion. We at the Ring of Honor Wrestling congratulates Bryan Danielson on winning the World Heavyweight title. Pound, watch ROH, RT, unquote. Some of WWE terms trending last night during the TLC pay-per-view worldwide on Twitter were CM Punk, Ricardo Rodriguez, The Miz, Alberto Del Rio, Daniel Bryan, MITB, Money in the Bank, WWE Network, Big Show, Figure 4, Kevin Nash, Triple H, Johnny Ace, Beth Phoenix, Kelly, Sheamus, RKO, the Bella Twins, Lillian Garcia, Zack Ryder, Wade Barrett, Teddy Long, Hornswoggle, Hunico, and Rosa Mendez. FCW star Seth Rollins confirmed on his Formspring account that he is headed out on the road with the main WWE roster beginning December 26th. That's one day after Christmas. That's next Monday. So he may be in a dark match on Monday Night Raw. Unless it's the SmackDown tour. And WWE.com is reporting, quote, with the impact of the sledgehammer, Kevin Nash sustained multiple contusions over his body, unquote. Dr. Aman said, quote, of most significance was a nasal fracture he sustained when he was struck in the face by the implement, unquote. Based on diagnosis made at the Baltimore Medical Facility, Nash was rushed to following the match. Former WWE champion will require at least 6 weeks without contact. During that time, he will likely be required to wear a brace to protect his nose while it heals. So, I wonder if it's going to be the type that what's his face, Nowinski wore on his face, or is it going to be like Cody Rhodes' mask? And he wrote on Twitter, as Kevin Nash wrote on Twitter after the pay-per-view, he said, quote, thanks, Paul. Nice to end it with someone I love, unquote. So there you go. It's just storyline. Of course, wrestling is fake, but don't tell Finley that. This day in wrestling history events, 1999, WCW Starrcade was held in Washington, D.C. This event featured the match in which Bret Hart suffered his career-ending concussion. Medusa defeats Evan Courageous to win the WCW Cruiserweight title. Norman Smiley defeated Mean to retain the WCW Hardcore title. Sting defeated Total Package by DQ. Kevin Nash defeated Sid Vicious in a powerbomb match. Chris Benoit defeated Jeff Jarrett in a ladder match to retain the WCW United States title. Bret Hart defeated Goldberg in an ODQ match to retain the WCW World title, though the title would be vacated on the following Nitro due to the controversial finish of the match. In 2009, Ring of Honor Final Battle held in New York City was the first Ring of Honor pay-per-view to be broadcast live. Eddie Kingston defeated Chris Hero in a fight without honor. The Briscoe brothers, which is Mark and Jay, defeated the American Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, to win the ROH tag titles. Jack Evans defeated Teddy Hart in an unsanctioned match with Julius Smokes as special guest referee. Austin Aries fought Tyler Black to a 1-hour time limit draw to retain the ROH World title. In 2010, on this date, WWE TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs was held in Houston, Texas. In the dark match, Daniel Bryan defeated Ted DiBiase to retain the WWE United States title. Dolph Ziggler defeated Kofi Kingston and Jack Swagger in a triple threat ladder match to retain the WWE Intercontinental title. Natalya and Beth Phoenix defeated Lay Cool in a tag team tables match. Santana Marella and Vladimir Kozlov defeated the Nexus, that's Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel, by DQ to retain the WWE tag titles. John Morrison defeated Sheamus in a ladders match. The Miz defeated Randy Orton in a tables match to retain the world title. Edge defeated Kane, Rey Mysterio, and Alberto Del Rio in a fatal 4-way TLC match to win the World Heavyweight title. John Cena defeated Wade Barrett in a chairs match. Title changes on this date in history was 1970. Giant Baba defeated Gene Kiniski to win the NWA International Heavyweight title. Let's see, 1973, Ken Mantell defeated Danny Hodge to win the NWA Junior Heavyweight title. 1998, Sabu defeated Taz to win the ECW FTW title. In 2000 on SmackDown, Edge and Christian defeated The Rock and The Undertaker with Kurt Angle as special guest referee to win the WWF Tag Team titles. Happy birthday going out to former WWF, WCW, ECW, and TNA wrestler Eric Watts, who turned 44, and Mexican star Villano 4, who turned 42. After last night's WWE TLC pay-per-view ended, this is what happened after it ended and stopped taping. CM Punk continued to celebrate before interacting more with the fans at ringside. Punk passed Lillian Garcia and put the other end of the handcuff he had on his arm onto her arm. Punk smiled and led Lillian backstage by the cuff. The Miz was interviewed by Chicago Sun-Times this week and was asked if he would rather bring a WWE diva or a reality TV girl home to meet his parents. Well, he replied, and I can vouch for that because I've seen his pictures and his quotes on Facebook. Well, he was quoted by, "I just brought a WWE diva home to my parents, and they loved her. MTV makes sure that they pick out girls that are off their rocker, so there are more meltdowns. No thanks on that one," unquote. And doesn't anyone know who the former diva is? Anyone? Bueller? Well, if you didn't know, you better call somebody, because it's none other than Maurice. And WWE had the cryptic video somewhere on Raw tonight. And this week's main word is profitless. Still, since the character is not Kane, I still think it would be the next news I report on the identity, as he spoke on Twitter, also in a cryptic code. But then there was a notebook that was featured when the little girl threw it onto the floor. Well, one of the dirt sheets took a picture of it, and it had a name scratched off, featuring the name of Chris. So, could that mean Chris Jericho is scratched out of the storyline for that? Well, that's my decision. Okay, of course, as January, the second mystery person teaser video appeared to have the name Chris crossed out on the front of the book when it hit the floor. Well, this could obviously be for Chris Jericho, or a swerve with the goal of making viewers believe it's for Jericho. But to me, I think it's the opposite. Don't believe in Jericho. Don't believe it's Jericho. Like I said, the name I believe is Skip Sheffield, who has been expected to return to WWE TV soon. And he wrote on Twitter some cryptic messages this weekend, mentioning "It Begins," which is also in the cryptic videos that was also showing, and hinting at his Ryback Terminator character. And he also wrote, quote, "Sitting in a chair at a table in Sin City wondering why this ladder is in front of me. Laughing at the gossip, the secret power, it begins. Who am I? Only time will tell. But rest assured, narc boys, I'm not a Terminator sent to save John Connor. I also hate College Station. Pound fake. I refuse to type it. Why? WID is fake. Accept and forget. My life, my rules. Born and raised in Sin City. Soon a psycho will be unleashed. And his new word is pound patience. So that could be trending worldwide on WWE or on Twitter. So if the word patience is in any of the future WWE encrypted vids, which I believe I have seen it in one of the first 3 weeks of their cryptic videos, and there you have it, as it's, to me, Skip Sheffield's official return with the futuristic Terminator character named Ryback. Since that's his character in FCW, well, we may be coming up with that character. Well, other news. Brutus the Barber Beefcake's ex-wife, Barbara Leslie, the estranged wife, well, I think it was an ex-wife, it says later in the article, of Brutus Beefcake, a.k.a. Ed Leslie's real name, commented to the National Enquirer regarding Lindo Bolia, spreading the rumor that Hulk Hogan and Beefcake have a homosexual relationship. I've watched my husband and Hulk interact for the past 20 years, and there have been many times when I felt that they were too close for comfort. And that's what she was officially said in the first one. Well, she again says, I have absolutely no knowledge of a homosexual relationship going on between my husband and Hulk, nor has Linda ever shared anything with me that would indicate she has knowledge of that. But I've been acquainted with her for a long time and have never known her to say anything that serious, unless she can back it up. She must know something. Quote, you can view the, that was unquote, you can view the entire story at nationalenquirer.com. Well, according to this, the article, Barbara also stated that Beefcake has not spoken with their daughter in 3 months, yet speaks with Hogan a few times a day. Hogan filed a defamation lawsuit against his ex-wife for spreading the rumor during her book tour interviews, and Leslie has also claimed that he intends to sue as well. Barbara was very careful with her wording, despite saying Hogan and Beefcake share a bond tighter than most marriages, so maybe they should just run off and get married themselves. Unquote. Well, what you've all been waiting for, the dark match from Raw tonight. Ted DiBiase defeated Dean Ambrose. If you're not familiar with Ambrose, he's a former FCW talent who just got called up to the WWE roster. DiBiase got a good pop from the crowd that had been sitting in silence for over 45 minutes prior to the match or so. And then you got Superstars taping. Scott Stanford and Josh Matthews are introduced to a respectable reaction. Match number 1, Alex Roddy defeated Michael McGillicuddy. And WWE Tag Champions Air Boom defeated Tyler Rex and Kurt Hawkins. And now for your Raw. And if you missed the opener, A-Rai is no longer in the Raw opening, so he may be moved over to SmackDown. So stay tuned on tomorrow night. Spoiler. If they probably won't show it until, I won't know it until, and neither will the fans know, because they're at ringside, they don't do the video for the opening of it and what have you. Okay, opening montage started the show. Kane is now featured in the opening video. A drum roll played as a shot of the set was shown. And get this, he cued the drum roll after the first one was unintended at that time, which shocked him, as you can see when you watch a replay of Raw or on your DVRs or anything on YouTube. CM Punk welcomed viewers to Philadelphia, the entertainment capital of the state. The images of the TLC match appeared on screen as Punk teased who the winner was before announcing himself as the winner. Punk headed to the ring while Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler introduced the show. Punk stood in the ring and soaked up the cheers from the crowd. Well, I caught the Raw about 4 to 5 minutes into the show and what have you. So I'm catching it right about here anyways. And Punk stood in the ring and soaked up the cheers. Okay, Punk took his second jab of the night at John Laurinaitis and talked about how he managed to retain his WWE title. Then you got a loud CM Punk chant broke out. To me, the crowd was very silent, as you could hear and see in your DVRs and the videos, that the live crowd was not even actually into it. So to me, that's your pipe bomb of the night. There was no reaction to the crowd except for when during the main event, the faces were coming down through the second level of the arena, through the fans. All three of them had different sections of the arena when they came down. Okay, well, back to the opening 10 to 15 minutes of the show. Okay, Punk said he's beat up and sore. He said he has a title that many people thought he would never hold. Punk brought up the U.S. Championship match. Who was the winner of the United States Championship match? And they showed the two pictures of the contestants in the match. Punk asked. The drum roll played again, and the images of Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder were shown on the screen. Punk announced that Ryder won the U.S. title, and then he announces him to come down to ring. Zack Ryder headed to the ring, while Cole labeled his win a fluke. Punk said they saved the biggest for last. They did the drum roll bit again, and showing Mark Henry and Big Show's faces on the screen. Punk said it makes him proud to say that the winner of the World Heavyweight Championship was Daniel Bryan, when he wasn't even in the match because he cashed his Money in the Bank briefcase in and won. Okay, well, Daniel headed to the ring to a favorable reaction, yet still received the softest reaction of the three. Punk said that if any city can appreciate the scene in the ring, it would be Philadelphia. He put the city over for being entrenched in pro wrestling history. The crowd cheered, and then an ECW chant broke out. Again, could have been pipe, it could have been the fans, but it was kind of real weak to me. Punk recalled meeting Brian 10 years ago at the Murphy Recreation Center, originally home of Ring of Honor, which received the loudest reaction of the night so far. Punk said he's the guy without a filter between his brain and mouth, but this isn't all about him. He said he wanted to hear from the two new champions. Well, they gave the microphone to Zack Ryder, and he said he had to call his dad to see if he was really the champion today. And he's quoted by saying, "Do you know what he said?" Ryder asked. He said, "Woo, woo, woo, you know it." Brian said people said that he'd never make it to WWE. He said people like Michael Cole don't think he would be there. And then Michael started running his mouth. Yeah, you're right. You don't deserve to be here. Well, this got Brian fired up. And it's saying he's not just there. He's the champion. And not just any champion. He's the World Heavyweight Champion. And again, Michael Cole did his little thing. Well, at that time, after that little segment, Miz walked onto the stage and glared toward the ring. Dolph Ziggler joined the Miz on the stage. They were then joined by Alberto Del Rio, who asked last night's losers to come out here. Lawler asked on commentary. The Hills eventually headed to the ring and tried to enter, but the faces blocked them. Ryder flipped onto the heels at ringside, but he was quickly rammed into ring steps. Punk and Bryan chased the faces. Punk and Bryan chased the heels up the ramp while Ryder stayed at ringside selling his shoulder, hitting the steps. Well, as Miz had already went backstage and then came back right behind John Laurinaitis came out, broke up the melee. Laurinaitis, who received the what treatment, booked them all in a 6-man tag for the main event. Ryder remained on the ground holding the shoulders as the faces went back to attend to him. The announcers hyped the 6-man tag match, and they said they show the Kane's return from last week's video from Monday night, and then Cena speaking out later in the show. Separate shots aired of Wade Barrett and Randy Orton walking backstage, as that match was the next match of the evening, or first match, whatever you want to call it. The announcer said that their match was up next. A good opening that instantly caught people's attention because it was something different. It was cool to see the trio out there. Had to laugh when the fans chanted ROH, but I was hearing ECW and not ROH, even though it seemed like Punk was hoping for an ROH chant. The strong segment that set up the main event nicely. And then the announcers also set up 2 other notable segments before they went to the first break. Randy Orton made his first entrance, and the latest Mystery Man teaser URL address popped up in the place of the Twitter plug. Like I said, I must have missed that one, turned my head or something to miss it. Well, Randy Orton defeated Wade Barrett in the 7-minute 45-second match. Barrett was in control when the show cut to commercial a couple of minutes in. Later, Barrett avoided a DDT off the ropes, but Orton dodged his waistland attempt. In the end, Barrett gouged his thumb in Orton's eye. Referee saw it and was immediately disqualified. And to me, the bell rang pretty dang quick just as the thumb hit the eye. So, somebody messed up in that little botch. The bell was ringing just as the thumb hit the eye. Or to the face. Barrett roughed up Orton and hit him with a side slam, which Barrett called his new move, Winds of Change, which is the same as the Black Hole Slam. Sidewalk Slam. You want to call it any other name? Well, do it your damn well, please. Barrett then threw a table inside the ring that he got from underneath the ring. Continued to rough up Orton. Barrett scooped up Orton and performed the wasteland through the table, which broke. The crowd died whenever Barrett was on offense, which is an ongoing trend. They fired up for Orton. I hope they can get Barrett back on track. But there's something missing right there. Call me crazy, but I don't think that using the name of Scorpion Song as his new side slam is going to be enough. The wasteland finisher through the table was fine, but the announcer didn't put it over effectively. They called that spot with the same enthusiasm they would for any forgettable mid-match move. The announcers turned their focus to the Triple H versus Kevin Nash match from TLC. They narrated still shots of the match. Cole said it will take at least 6 weeks for Nash to recover, and Lawler said he wouldn't be surprised if we never see Nash again, because on Twitter, Nash hinted around that he was retiring. Then they showed a split screen shot showing Alicia Fox wearing the animal headpiece, which is her entrance gear. It's a fox head that goes over her shoulders and what have you. And she faced Beth Phoenix, and as Beth was walking in another part of the building, headed to the ring. Well, I think those were still shots. Well, Nash moved pretty well slowly these days, so it's kind of hard to tell the difference. But meanwhile, Alicia Fox Must be a Packers fan, as they are the only people I know who wear dead animals on their heads on television. No, I'm not kicking the Packers fans while they're down. If 13-1 is down, I wish the Vikings would be down every season. Check out the latest January 2nd mystery video at youtube.com /profitless 2012. The little girl can't help the boy anymore and wants to know if he understands, and that's all she said. I can't help you anymore. You understand? Closing graphic read, profitless. Like I described earlier. Match number 2. Alicia Fox defeated Beth Phoenix in 45 seconds, which was actually a botched move, and Beth kind of she sold it real well. The man just laid there because it wasn't supposed to happen that way. And the crowd didn't seem to be impressed, but Cole didn't wait to tell us that she was trending on Twitter. Alicia hit her finisher and pinned Phoenix clean. Alicia took the mic after the match and said, "Hi, I hope everyone has a foxy holiday." Her music played and she left the ring without the dead animal. Then the announcers hyped the 6-man tag main event. Great, now little girls everywhere will be wearing dead animals on their heads and walking around like strippers while shitty techno music plays. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Beth looked really good at the pay-per-view, having her dominate Kelly to have her lose like this to the suddenly annoying Alicia Fox. Well, to me, it wasn't annoying other than the Fox is just selling her last name as her character. Okay, highlights aired of Sheamus beating Jinder Mahal on SmackDown. Match number 3, Sheamus defeated Jinder Mahal again. Jinder came out wearing a turban, cut a promo while walking to the ring. He said Sheamus has no class and no honor, and it's about time someone puts him in his place. Lawler said Jinder asked for the rematch. Jinder got some offense, and this time around, Sheamus finished him off with a Celtic Cross. I'm not sure what the point of that was, nor do I think that WWE Creative knows where to go with this with Sheamus, so they're just putting him up against Mahal. Okay, the announcers hyped John Cena's first comments since Kane attacked him from last week after the break. WWE Network video highlights aired from last week of Kane returning to and attacking John Cena. Well, that's a repeat. This week, John Cena made his entrance and said something about the city of brotherly love and how their favorite son had come home. His shirt has the Be a Star logo on the side. Cena was booed loudly, though the cameras focused on the women and their children who cheered him. And like I said, this is pipe crap. Well, if they're going to have live interaction, at least be real about it, instead of just running, shoving this crap down people's throat to making you think and cheer for whatever they want you to cheer for. Come on, this is democracy, not anarchy. Okay, well anyway, Cena said some people, including The Rock, don't like him. He said he doesn't understand why Kane attacked him. He said he has no problem with it. And he's willing to let bygones be bygones. And if it was an accident, but they have business if it wasn't an accident, and he's ready to face his fears. Well, Mark Henry's music interrupts, and he's walking gingerly to the ring. Henry said that Cena would be the newest member of the Hall of Pain if it hadn't been for Kane. Henry said Cena is doing a monologue full of jokes. The crowd chanted sexual chocolates, which I didn't hear, so it must have been so weak. Henry said he's not in the mood for jokes because he lost his title at TLC. Henry said he was there to address his injuries and why he lost. He suggested that Cena get out of his face. Cena squared off. The pyro went off after the same length pause last week. Kane's music played. He came out wearing both masks again. Henry ducked to ringside while Cena remained in the ring. Kane walked toward Henry at ringside. The announcers questioned who Kane was there for. Henry yelled, and he's hurt right now, and Kane glared at him. Kane turned slowly toward John Cena. He climbed onto the ring apron and removed the large mask. Once he entered the ring, Cena attacked him and clotheslined him out of the ring, which he landed on his feet, pulled John Cena back out, and put him through the announcer's table. Kane roughed up Cena at ringside and caught him with a punch to the throat, which Cena sold, and by coughing and gagging, Kane covered Cena's face with his hand. Cena gargled, then Kane pulled his hand away. Cena had blood on his lip. Kane ripped Cena's shirt off as he's laying on the table. Kane's music played, and he headed up the ramp with Cena's t-shirt. Cena sat up on the announcer's table with a shocked look on his face. They go to commercial. Okay, so Kane came back to start a t-shirt collection. Good segment, though I like the way they teased Kane going after Mark Henry, who was responsible for putting him on the shelf. One can only hope that a serious feud with Kane will lead to some serious mic work from Bad Joke Cena. Primo and Epico were in the ring with jiggling Rosa Mendez. The Uso brothers did their war dance. Forgot what it's called. Whatever it was that. I got it on my PS3 game and what have you. Well, Epico and Primo with Rosa Mendez defeated the Uso brothers in 2 minutes 50 seconds. A shot aired of Air Boom watching backstage. There was a good finishing sequence with some rapid fire shots that concluded with Epico hitting the backstabber, which almost wasn't even delivered because it was like on the side of his back and not fully on his back, on one of the Uso brothers, and then scoring the pin. Neither team received much reaction, but why would they when they haven't been given any meaningful time other than on Superstars just recently on Raw? It's going to take some time to reestablish the tag team division, but you have to start somewhere. By the way, black is definitely the hair color for Rosa. They may have to turn Epico and Primo because Rosa dancing is going to lead to a lot of tears if they give the act enough TV time. Royal Rumble commercial with Santino aired. Yes, the one with the crystal ball, just like last week's. Backstage, Josh Matthews interviewed Cody Rhodes, who said the video with Santino was the most ridiculous thing ever. He said it was ridiculous as Booker T returning to the ring to face him. Rhodes said if anyone actually looked into a crystal ball, they would see his face emerging. Cody was interrupted in mid-sentence by Santino, who offered him a Christmas present. Santino stuck his hand through the basket and was wearing the Cobra glove. One of the announcers giggled. I think it was Jerry the King Lawler. Everyone else was either quiet or groaning. Well, Cody had actually refused the gift anyways. I don't want your dang gift. So your next match was Cody Rhodes defeating Santino Marella in a non-title 1 minute and 25 second match. And Cody dominated the entire match. Santino went for the Cobra late, but Cody hit the Alabama Slam and scored the clean pin. So he didn't use his finisher. Crossroads. Tribute to the Truth video aired with John Cena's speech while the wrestlers stood on stage. A video aired to the live version of the newest shitty Nickelback song. Backstage, the Bella Twins bickering and complaining to John Laurinaitis about Teddy Long. They bitched so much I'm not even sure what they even said. It was probably about him being a horny old pervert at the pay-per-view. Bella's kissed Laurinaitis on the cheek. He flashed a dopey smile and nod to David Otunga. Vicky Guerrero entered the scene and was a victim of a hornswoggle mistletoe kiss. Well, I missed all that entire segment. I think I went to the bathroom at that point during the commercial break. Okay, now this was where WWE should be obligated to air the "Don't try this at home" disclaimer. This is all why they need a bunch of lonely, horny wrestling fans being charged with assault for impersonating Hornswoggle. Announcers recut Zack Ryder's win and then set up the interview with Ryder's father from the WWE website. Backstage, Josh Matthews interviewed Big Show, who expressed frustration over having the World Heavyweight Championship in his hands and then let it slip through. He said it's his fault for encouraging Daniel Bryan to cash in the Money in the Bank contract of Mark Henry. Show then said he has to give the little guy credit for living his dream. Come on, Show, Matthews said. He said Show has the shortest world heavyweight championship reign in history, and it will probably not be broken. I'm okay, said a visibly frustrated Show. But I didn't hear the I'm. He just said okay and walked off. He walked off in a piss way. Awesome, and not just because that was the next word we heard as part of the Miz's entrance. Big Show is great here. He did a good job of trying to say the right thing while establishing how upset he really is with his body language. He's really improved on his mic work and acting ability over the years. As the ring entrances for the main event were taking place, the latest mystery person video was shown on the screen, which I missed again. The little witch shoved the poor kid's notebook off his desk. Anyway, .net member Kid Mojo wrote that he believes the notebook has the name Chris crossed out. I thought I was able to make out the C in the crossed out name. Of course, this could be a swerve, but it's an interesting catch if it's accurate. Well, there was a picture shown on Ringside News of that, and what have you. And match number 6, which is your main event, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and Zack Ryder defeated The Miz, Alberto Del Rio, and Dolph Ziggler with Vicky in a 6-man tag with 12 minutes 15 second mark. Ryder, Bryan, and Punk in that order made separate entrances through the crowd. Fast-paced action to start with the faces hitting moves on the heels at ringside, concluding with Punk diving off the top rope onto the heels. After the commercial break, the heel trio went on the offense while Vicky cheered them on from ringside. Ryder hit the bulk of the selling for his team, while Cole spent time bitching about Bryan and Ryder being nerds. So the Monday Night Raw went about 10 minutes over. Ryder made the hot tag to Punk, who performed some of his signature spots. He hit the GTS on Miz, who rolled out of the ring. Del Rio attacked Punk from behind and knocked him out of the ring. Del Rio ran Bryan through the ropes and into the post. However, Bryan came back and got the submission win, which Del Rio tried his move and Bryan countered with his bell lock. Babyface trio celebrated with the fans around ringside area while holding up their respective title belts on the three of the corners. Punk stood on the announcer's desk and raised the belt while Cole questioned why he was doing this to close the show. Babyface Love Fest to close the Christmas week show. This was pretty much what I expected from the WWE tonight in terms of delivering an entertaining show that was recapped by a pay-per-view. Yet didn't give too much away since it's the holidays. I was worried we'd get a bunch of campy comedy with Santino and stuff. So they focused on Punk, Bryan, and Ryder, which is a good way to promote your champions better, and instead of just having Bryan lose the next night. So that ends my video for tonight on Raw. Stay tuned for tomorrow night SmackDown, Superstars, and NXT. Peace out, brother.